Hey, it's Louis here and welcome to another training in the Survey Chat method. We are in module 3 in the audience building phase. Super pumped for this because it's very cool. And the topic of this is called build your content to amplify your audience. So in saying that, let's get straight into it. So number one thing, we're going to talk about high impact content metrics. There's awesome content and there's an average. Hard content, easy content. A lot of people doing in the quadrant of average and easy, right? So what is it that in average easy? It's things like quote card, right? Like quotation. People saying, hey, change your life, working hard, wake up in the morning, you know, you're gonna become a new version of yourself, motivation, quotation sort of thing, right? That's easy, right? We can grab from online, everything, we just share it. And the quality is actually a bit average. Now, what about this side of it? To me, again, you may be different, but I believe that you probably similar to me is that writing articles, right? Writing a long form articles, like all the words and everything, and go through the sequence and make sure changing editing grammar is right. And so that to me is actually pretty hard. What about on this side of it? Things like a little bit hard. Well, to me, if things are a little bit hard, but it's actually really awesome, which I think is like things like a vlog, right? You symmetries and slow motions and you cut paces and like all these cool different videos. Boom, you're out there, people like absolutely loving it, right? Like so good. And so to me, I like just talk about videos, which is like I can create videos and I can create many pieces of it, and this video piece be able to transcribe into the article and transcribe into quotations and be able to put together, someone else can be able to put a vlog with a snippet of it, putting a minute, like what I call the micro content, into vlog. So I create one piece, I'd be able to create another 30, 40 pieces out of it just because there's one. There's images, there's audio, there's a video in one. If we choosing something that's just hard, unless we get someone else to do it, pay someone else money to do it, which is cool if you know what things that you're going to produce. By the way, not all content writers can write anything unless that they understand your audience, understand your audience problems. So it's not about getting content, but it's about writing content that is resonant to the people so they're gonna like, know, and trust. Yay! Nowadays, you can all Google all different amazing stuff, but how do you make it relevant to your audience? That's the art of actually delivering your values through the content messages to your audience. So that's the high impact content metrics. So I like to play in this field. Not sure about you. The second concept is I want to talk about the content flow. There are 3 phases of doing the content. And so phase 1, we call it awareness. Phase 2, we call it engagement. And phase 3, we call convert. So what are we doing in the awareness level? Well, we talk about their problems. We talk about solutions. I could be listing 7 different problems, each at a time. For example, if I can't start a business and make money online, then it's the motivation problem. It's a discipline problem. Then it's a marketing problem. Then it's a sales problem. There's a belief problem. There's idea problem. There's a productization problem. So there's so many different problems in one people. Somebody here, they want to get there from A to B. There's all these problems. Stop them from the mindset, the information, the strategy, the tactics, the values, all the way through, right? So there's all different problems that people may not be aware. Now, some people know what the problems are. A lot of people don't even know they have a problem. So your job is to communicate with your audience who is not using your service or product. That's not about you just yet, but it's about what they thinking the problems awareness right now in their mind. So that's awareness. What about engagement? Well, engagement, we wanted to get some likes. We want to get some comments. We want to get people to share. So if the likes, the comment, share, then literally these people who like our stuff are going to help us to amplify. Likely, if your audience like your stuff, they have more similar audience who's having a similar thing as what they experience. So that's the engagement part. The next part is lead to a chat or to a call. Now, this 2 piece is them. So we talked about things that they may not be even aware of the problem, or things that they should be aware of the problem, the solution that should be fixing it. And this piece is about us, why our stuff is good. We're gonna invite them to be part of our world and why they should be considering. And so we have these groups. So this is our Facebook group, or the community that you build, right? When we're using these 2 pieces of content, which is literally the awareness and the engage, the purpose of it is to bring them into our Facebook group, which is like the free content group. The purpose is for them to be free in the group so we can actually continue to provide them a value. Then we're gonna bring value, we want them to convert into become a client. Into this, what we call acquisition product, right? Something cheap. Maybe it's the ascension product, which is something slightly expensive. So either that you convert them into there or you convert them into there, whichever way that makes sense. And so that's the first flow, which is in the public. Outside of the group, that's how the information gets flowed, right? It's like a funnel that goes flow right into the group. So now the people, cold traffic who's not aware of you, they're aware of you, now they engage with you. Then when you ask them to join, they want them to join because they know you, right? There's a lot of sell by chat going on here already during the public phase before getting to the group. There's also opportunity to be able to sell to them, but the purpose is to be able to bring them into one place so they can actually be part of a community. Once they get in that, the process is getting from free group to other groups so they can actually buy product and services. However, the content flow the opposite way. So what I mean by that is that if you have acquisition group, for example, that product worth $100, then what you want to do is you put the content from this group. This is the first flow, flow A, and that's flow B. In the flow A, it's a triangle that flow right in the group. The flow B is the content in acquisition product, people that bought it, you want to flow back into the free group. So the content flow back into the free group to inviting and to adding the free group people so they're motivated to join your other groups to buy the product and services. So that's the entire flow, how that's going to look like. A lot of time when we produce something, we just produce a similar thing, like kind of saying the similar thing over and again and again. So like this is, if this is a chart, not sure about you, when I start it's like, okay, 3 strategy to do that, 5 ways to do that, you should get my loan, you should buy my product. It's all about product. And so what happened is that we have a content and it's flat. Now it doesn't matter how good the content is, if it's flat, it's just boring. If it's boring, it can be good content, but you don't build like and trust no because there's no flavor into it, right? So the art of bringing a content is you got to bring some flavors into the content. There's maybe a character view, maybe there's a story of you where you come from, and maybe there's your mistakes and your wins along the way. There may be some other things like the clients that you helped, right? So then you have all different spectrum of content, right? You have a spectrum of content that literally flows with emotions and story. That's how you're gonna have ups and downs. This is engaging. When you're gonna watch a movie, if the movie just like flat, exactly same way you expected at the end, all same, not interesting, right? The only way people engage movie is ups and downs, right? The hero's movie, that when they come out, they're nobody, and then they had a drive, they want to be somebody, and then they fell, and then use all the energies, and they couldn't break through, they're back down again, and finally they're breaking through. All of a sudden they're back to normal life. Like that's called a plot, right? We talked about the storytelling. This is what needs to happen in your life because you actually have that. A lot of people can't extracting out of it. Therefore, we simply tell something that's pretty boring. And so the next part is to talk about think and do. The two things should be separate. If you actually try to do a movie, there is a script director will bought from somebody or booked from someone that's actual script and all the thinking, designing of the movies. And there's a doing, which is the actual actor that actually writing the script and acting that way. So there's thinking, which is designing, and there's doing. Now what we want to do in the content exactly the same way. We want to think once, which is thinking is the hardest part, to put all that together, what to go where. The doing, if you know exactly what you're gonna do, then you simply just wake up and do it. But the problem people stuck is they think. And so what we want you to do, I want you to think once, have all the content planned out, and just produce all that out. In 3 days, we wanna have everything complete. That's really what this training is gonna be about. So that's it. I know I went through everything pretty quick, but it's a super important one that if you spend time producing videos or your content, that's gonna serve you far ahead of anyone else, because the only thing that you have, not the information, but your personality, your own feels and your own beliefs, your own certainty that goes into your messages, that goes out to the market, that allow you to attract the people that who know, like, and trust just like you. And that's what the power in you, not everyone else. That's it from this training. I hope I served, and there's tons of things that look so simple, but it takes years experience to contextualize everything to make it this simple, although it's still gonna be working well, but as simple as can be to make a dimensional, a spectrum of different things that you can actually to shine your character in the world out there. Bye for now.